always start with a diagram. A ball is thrown horizontally from a 17, all right, I'm gonna draw a diagram. So I've got a building that's 17 meters tall. We're throwing it horizontally, so straight across in this direction at a speed of 9 meters per second. How far from the base of the building does the ball fall? So it's going to arc, and it's going to land here, and you're asking, what is this value of x? That is really the question that you're trying to answer. Again, a reminder, as we've talked about this in videos, et cetera, is you really want to set up your charts, your x and your y charts, right? So you've got x1, x2. x1 is 0. x2 is what we're trying to find, right? What's Vx? In the x direction, V is 9, right? Acceleration, of course, in the x direction is 0, right? Always that's the case. The y has an acceleration, and the time we don't know yet. Ultimately, if you know this, you can solve for this, okay? But to find this, we have to do the y's, right? So y0 or y1, so we have to decide how we want to do this. This is 17, and this is 0. I think that's what, make this 0 and that's 17. So y1 is 17, and y2 is 0, right? It's going to finish up at 0. And Vy, now notice it's only being thrown in this direction, so it's not being thrown up or down. That's 0, isn't it? And what else do we know? A, of course, is negative 9.8, and t equals question mark. So what you're going to do, guys, is you need to solve the equation here, because now we have everything we need to find t. Once you know t, you're going to plug it back into here, and then solve for x2. And the master equation, of course, is that y2, if you will, equals y1 plus vyt plus 1/2, and we'll say gt squared, because that's acceleration of gravity. You know what y2 is. This is 0. You say 0, right? Equals y1, 17. Now vy is 0, so this whole term drops off, and there'll be minus 4.9 t squared, because 9.8 times 1/2, 4.9. You can solve for t, there'll be a square root thing. That t then gets plugged into this equation, and then you'll basically repeat this same equation, right? But to say x2 equals x1 plus vxt, actually plus 0, right? Because there's no acceleration. This is the same equation, but in the x direction. So in x1 is 0, so this equals 0 plus vx. It'll be 9 times whatever you got in this t. Boom, that's your answer. That's how far the ball is going to land.